All right, thank you. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order, and Justin, if you'll call roll, please.
Chairman Bryant.
Here.
Commissioner Rowley.
Here.
Commissioner Madrid.
Here.
Member Jones.
Here.
Member Martin.
Here.
Member Porter. Member Petty.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Do we have a quorum? Okay, we'll move down to the approval of the minutes of August 25th. If y'all have had a chance to review those, I'll ask for a motion.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same with those opposed.
I abstain from that since I wasn't
Okay,
at the
we have
last
one
meeting.
abstention.
And just for clarification, Member Martin and Member Petty, y'all, the
Yes, it's,
motion in the second, thank you.
Keep up.
Come
on now.
Hey.
No, you do at it. Doggone. Small crowd this morning. I know it's hard.
all right, discussion and recommendation regarding residential street paving. Mr. Howald.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Bryant, members of the committee. At the last meeting, we presented several different residential streets for your consideration as our paving projects. Since that time, we've gone back and gotten actual prices from K. Barnett to make sure that the budget that we have matched with what was presented to you. The total for all of the roadways that were presented to you came out to $792,540, and that was without gross receipts tax. Our total residential paving budget for this fiscal year is $700,000. So we then went back and, based off of y'all's recommendation, just totaled up those roadways, and that's the far left column on the very small spreadsheet that I have in front of you. And the total for those ones, and from here on out, I'm going to talk with gross receipts tax, was $507,285.78. So we still had some room in the budget to be able to add some of the additional roadways. And so what I've presented to you today is with 4 different options that will still keep us underneath that $700,000 budget that's already within our approved by the City Commission for this fiscal year. The first option, we went ahead and included Lore from Comer to Mandel, and the reason we picked that was because the other project, Lore from Manana to Eccles, this would just be a continuation of there without jumping. So it kept it consistent with progressing to the north essentially on that particular roadway. While we were out there and while Larry was out there reviewing these, he actually came across Harrison and Mandel, and they were in much worse shape than the other roads that we had previously presented to you. So I wanted to get those in front of you as well. And so it would have been, the additions would have been Harrison from Mandel to Manana, and then Mandel from Harrison to Manana, which it took me about 4 times to get that straight with all the Harrisons and the Mandels and the Mananas within those 2 roadways. But if you total those all up, it would bring the total project cost to around $682,000. The second option in front of you today would be us including Fairway Terrace from Ensdale to Colonial, and then Lore again from Mandel to Manana. If we go with that option, the total cost for our residential paving would be $689,000. Option 3, we included 4th Street from Prince to Axtell, and once again Lore from Mandel to Manana, which would bring our total project cost to around $686,000. Option 4, we just added the additional 2 Lore projects to that. So that would take care of Lore all the way from Manana all the way up to, from Eccles all the way up to Manana, to Mandel, as we go north, sorry. And that would bring our total project cost to $622,000. So you can see all 4 options are within the allotted budget that we have for this fiscal year, just simply needing a recommendation on which option to move forward with. Like I mentioned earlier, when Larry was out reviewing the remaining roadways and he came across to the ones there at Harrison and Mandel, he felt that those roadways were needing the most attention out of all of these that still were remaining. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions from the committee?
You know, option 1, it seems like it's got more roads on it than the rest of them do, and it's $682,000.
It does.
Okay, I'm kind of leaning to option 1.
Yeah, I'll make a motion for option 1. Second.
We have a motion and a second for option 1. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay. Update on current projects. Mr. Hobart with the city update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As y'all approved at the last board meeting was the Ned Howe Park drainage improvements. That has gone to the city commission, which was approved by them as well. And K Barnett has actually completed that project. So that work is out and completed out there in Ned Howe Park, CR17, CR19 area. And so what's up next for that overall big picture is we'll continue to work with Curry County for them to now get their culverts installed. And so once that is completed, we may have to go out and do some cleanup grading, but that project has been completed. The other ongoing projects that we currently have in construction is our reuse project, Phase 1D. They're wrapping up there at the tank. They've installed some additional security fencing. We've done some additional base work just around the site, some additional riprap and grading so when we have to drain the tank, we don't have erosion issues. So they're really just kind of wrapping that project up at this time. Phase 2, at the ponds, the valve came in that was supposed to be installed to interconnect the two ponds. However, when we unpackaged the valve was a 60-inch valve and not a 30-inch valve. So we're now waiting on our 30-inch valve to show up. For the transmission line project, our pipe finally did show up. Now we're waiting on fittings. And so we can't get started putting in the pipe because it's hard to make bends without the fittings. And so we're waiting still on the manufacturer for those particular parts of the project. So hoping to get started, but until we have all the pieces in place, we obviously don't want to start detouring traffic. We are going to go ahead, get started on the bores. So we're having to bore underneath Llano Estacado at Thornton, and then we're having to bore underneath Prince at Wilhite. And so that contractor, particular sub, is going to come in, go ahead and get the borings in, go ahead and get the casing in, and then we'll backfill those bore and receiving pits. And then once we get there with the pipe, we can go ahead and put the spacers on and slide the pipe through the casing. So that completes my update. Any questions that we may have on some of the other projects that were previously presented at the last?
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay. Closed municipal schools, Mr. King is not here this morning, so we'll
Mr.
move down
King
to
sends his
the,
apologies. He had an unexpected emergency. I got to
okay.
text him.
I'm sure we all have a pretty lengthy report when we do have him here. Okay, number 6, for the good of the orders, does anybody have anything to bring up to the Public Works Committee? No? Okay, next meeting time is 8:30, October 27th, right here, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.